Let's explore a few roof options. On the second story of the house, you'll notice in the main rendering on your screen, we have a small bump out, and I placed that in the master room. And as long as I was going through the process, I wanted to give some options of roofing, and you'll notice that there are several on the left-hand side: gable, curved roof, shed roof, and hip roof. Let's take a look at how we can create these style of roofs. In the plan, in the master bedroom, I'm going to create a small bump out. With my wall tool, I'm going to come in and create a 1-foot wall. Again, if I press the tab key as I'm drawing out the wall and I'm going down, I'm going to enter in a value of 12 inches. Save myself some time on dimensioning. Not always. I can just simply drag the wall and then we'll connect it. And now I can highlight that wall. If I want to set that to be exactly 12 feet, I'll just enter in that value. So now I have a 12-foot by 1-foot pop out. And to make sure that these walls are centered on the room, I'm going to group select them with the Shift key and click on them. Use the center key and just click on the center of the bedroom. I'm going to grab this window and I'm just going to cut it with Control X, and then I'm going to paste it with Control V. You'll notice I get a snap indicator on the center, and now I've just moved that window out. Now then, in the master bedroom with that pop out, I'm going to go ahead and pull these walls back into the bedroom. And what this is going to do is going to create a raised ceiling in here, although I'm not going to focus on that in the demo. So now I've got this area in here, and the next thing I'm going to do is remove this wall. With the brake tool up here in my menu on the upper left, I'm going to click on the area that I want to break out. And now I'm just going to simply select that wall, press the delete key, and now I've got my basic area. If I highlight this wall back here, I'm going to go ahead and use a round dimension of 10 feet. And now I'm going to grab the other two walls. Actually, let's add one more break in here. Looks like I didn't get quite the right break. And we'll add one more in there. Now I'm going to grab the three walls inside the bedroom, and I'm going to toggle, when I click on them, I'm going to toggle those walls to be invisible. And then finally, I'm going to select inside of this area that we just created, this inner room, so to speak. Let's go ahead and remove the room label off. In the structure, I'm going to raise the ceiling up 24 inches. So it's currently at 109. Let's enter in 133. And now we've just raised the ceiling up. I'm going to take a 3D overview of what we've just done here. And I should have automatic roofs on, and we should see the result, rotate around, the result of adding that pop out. Now, my default roof was a hip roof, so I can highlight this wall, come down in the lower left menu, toggle that to a gable wall, and you can see the effects very quickly. Now I can select on these roof planes. You can modify them. If I double click on them, I could curve those roof planes. I'm going to do that when I get to the shed roof portion. Now the next thing I want to do, let's go ahead and toggle that wall back to a hip roof. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a shed roof. I'm going to split my screen. I have a shortcut on my keyboard called Shift F6. Let's zoom in to the plan area. And I'm going to grab the walls inside here. And if I double click on those, one of the things that I'm going to do here is come to the Roof tab. I'm going to change the pitch to 3 and 12. And I'm going to mark those to be high gable walls. Select OK. And you can see that we've created a high shed gable. Now finally, let's grab this front wall and let's lower the pitch. That should bring that shed more like what we're after here. Now sometimes when a shed might be too low with the pitch, we may have to redraw attic walls. And if you take a look, I've got that condition right here. So in my plan, I'm going to go ahead and move up one floor to the attic. Notice that I have the A indicator. And now I'm going to choose this tool called Reference Floors. Notice on the far right-hand side of your screen, Reference Display. And now I can see the walls below. With my wall tool, I'm just going to drag a wall right over the top of the wall below. It's telling me that I may not want to draw an attic wall in there. Let's position that exactly below. Now I'm going to double click on that wall. And the first thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to say that it's a high shed gable wall. Check that. And that also the roof cuts the bottom. This is usually only needed when you have a very low shed. Now I'm going to grab that and I'm just going to draw a quick line here right in the center of the room. Grab that wall, copy tool, reflect about the center of that line, and now I've added that. And if we zoom out, you can see there is the attic wall. Now the next thing that I'm going to do with the roof, let's highlight it and double click on it, is I want to create a curved roof. You'll notice the option down here in the dialog. Check that. At the ridge, I want that to be 0. That's going to be in the upper section of the roof. And then we'll get a 3D update. So you can create some pretty unique roof styles with that. The other thing you can do as well, let's go ahead and move down a level. And I'm going to let's turn on our roof planes. I don't see those. Check that. Now we can see the roof planes, and if you use the skylight tool, let's go ahead and let's just place a skylight in here. We'll turn that layer on as well when we place it. And I'm going to just grab that skylight and I'm going to pull it out to about 4 feet. And you'll notice that with that skylight, it automatically follows the curvature of the roof. And if I want to make multiple copies of that, I'm going to come down here, choose the multiple copy. It's in your far left-hand corner of the screen. And let's go ahead and check the dimension. If that's going to go in between framing members, typically 24" on center with 1.5 inches in between, that might be fine for us. And now I'm just going to drag that out and we'll create 3 or 4 copies of it. And then I can group select those and also center those in the room. Now one additional tool that I wanted to show, let's just take a peek inside. You can see what that looks like. One additional tool that you can also use is the dormer tool. And I'm going to place a couple of dormers in the attic, just in this area here, just to see what it might look like. So let's go ahead and again use the floor up indicator here. You can see that I still have my reference floor on below. I could move the roof planes up and display on this level as well if that might help me. With the dormer tool, you'll find a floating dormer and a structural dormer. We call it auto dormer. That's one that forms room and walls. The floating dormer is more decorative. Let's place a couple of decorative dormers on the roof here. And let's go ahead and select that dimension. Maybe enter 5 feet, make it a little bit larger. And if you double click on the dormer, we'll have a number of options that can be modified like all smart objects in Chief Architect. I'm going to change the roof style to barrel. You'll notice that you come down here, here's the options for the eaves, the eave overhang, wall type if you've got a different wall type, and then again if you want to specify the dimensions. Accept all those defaults. And I've changed the roof style to be barrel. Let's create a copy of that and let's just slide it over. And now we've got, maximize our view here. Now we've got the decorative dormers on top of our roof. And when I frame the house, you'll see that those get framed accordingly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove those dormers and change the roof back to a shed, and then we'll take a look at the framing.